Go ahead and get into the first topic, people. Now, the first topic is about MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell. I actually have heard of Mike Lindell. Ordered to pay $5 million to 2020 election fraud data debunker. That's interesting. So it's like, what role did they have to play in this? Let's see. Now I'm gonna make myself a little bit bigger. All right. So it says arbitration panel ordered MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell to pay $5 million within 30 days to a Nevada software developer. Interesting. For proving Lindell was wrong in his claim that certain data was related to the 2020 presidential election and purported voting machine fraud. Oh, okay. Now it says the panel in its 23-page ruling issued Wednesday said that Robert Zaidman proved that the data they provided and represented reflected information from the 2020 election unequivocally did not reflect that election data. So they're basically, I'm not sure, it doesn't say what he was using that data for here yet, I don't believe. But it basically says that they were essentially saying that they got this this data from, the election, and they really didn't get it there. So, it may have been a case of, giving out misinformation or knowingly giving out false information for your benefit, which, as we know, is bad and is illegal. Now it said Ziedman, a software developer, entered the Prove Mike Wrong Challenge contest during a cyber symposium in August 2021. Now it says the American Arbitration Association panel, which held a 3-day hearing in January on the case, also said that Lindell's LLC failure to pay Mr. Ziedman the $5 billion offered as the stated prize of the contest was a breach of contract entitling him to recover. So essentially, he's saying pretty much in this Prove Mike Wrong contest during the cyber symposium, apparently Ziedman won that and they didn't pay him. I wonder why they didn't pay him. Now it said Ziedman called the ruling great in an interview with CNBC. As we know, he won this, so he was awarded, and it was seen by the judges that, the CEO, Mike Lindell, was in fact wrong. Now it says, he said, I knew from the beginning that I would win, citing his review of the data in which Lindell believed showed that China had interfered in the 2020 election in several states and effectively swindled then President Donald Trump out of the re-election. So I believe this was the type of situation, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, where Lindell believed that China had interfered with the 2020 election, and he was basically telling people, hey, prove me wrong, like essentially show me that this isn't what is or what's going on, and everything like that. But apparently, Zindel came in with the information, and he was like, nah, bruh, nah, I got all the facts right here. I got all the facts right here. And looks like he was right. Looks like Mr. Lindell was definitely right. Now, it says, when Ziedman dug into the source of some of the data, I got a Microsoft Word document that was basically a big table of numbers. This was obviously manufactured bogus data. He said the data pushed by Lindell is part of a fraud among right-wing people who argue Trump is the true winner of the 2020 election. He said, I'm a right-wing conservative, adding that he voted for Trump in both 2016 and 2020. But Ziedman also said, I don't expect to see the money that Lindell was ordered to pay him. So he's essentially saying, hey, I'm a right-wing conservative just like you. He probably is saying, hey, I wanted Trump to win just like you and everything, but that doesn't mean that you have the authority or you should be able to manipulate data, to try to make the presidential election something that it isn't, which we saw Trump was doing that, and a lot of people on his team were doing that, and a lot of people in America believe that. I mean, let's keep it a stack. They literally stormed the Capitol because they believe that. So, this is pretty serious. So I would say definitely a big W for our man Lindell. Let me know if you guys know a little bit more about this situation. There really aren't too much. There really isn't too much into this. But let's see. Oh, there's actually a little bit more, guys. Let's look at this. Sorry, I didn't know there was more to the article. I was about to say there actually isn't that much information. Now, he said, I think that Lindell's got bigger issues with the Dominion case, referring to a $1.3 billion lawsuit Lindell faces from Dominion Voting Systems for allegedly defaming the voting machine company with his allegations. Lindell faces a separate defamation suit by another voting machine company, Smartmatic, because you can't be coming out here and saying that there's a whole bunch of fraud and everything like that and kind of not expect to get hit with some companies that are their job is to make sure that the election goes smooth. Now he said he'll delay paying me and I don't know if he'll have any money after Dominion. He called the arbitration a horrible decision. He also told CNBC that he will challenge the panel's decision in court. The evidence was from 2020. This is the only guy who says it wasn't. And that's what he said was the subject of the contest. Now, he said Lindell was one of the most prominent advocates for claims that Trump was swindled out of a victory in the 2020 election by voting machine results that were tampered with. So you already know, you coming at the voting machines, you getting proved wrong by what's his name, Zindel or something along those lines. Now they're coming for you for it. Now, and it says that he told CNBC in December 2021 that he had spent $25 million of his own money to promote claims that the election was stolen from Trump. Bill Barr, who worked as the attorney general under Trump, said that there was no widespread voting fraud in the election. Now, he was being very specific there by saying widespread. But you guys know essentially what he's essentially saying is, even though I do work for Trump, I don't think that there was fraud necessarily in this election. Now, the U.S. Intelligence Committee, according to a declassified report in 2021, said there are no indications that any foreign actor, like the Chinese, attempted to alter any technical aspect of the voting process in the 2020 U.S. elections, including voter registration, casting ballots, vote tabulation, or reporting results. Fox Corp and its cable networks agreed to pay $787 million to Dominion Voting Systems to settle a lawsuit over false claims about Dominion's machines swaying the outcome of the 2020 election. And I actually love to see that, because I do love when a lot of times the news can be swayed. They can be swayed by, just trying to get news out too quickly, or they can be swayed by, trying to push a certain agenda, and everything like that. We know that, that's something that you hear from with news sources all the time. So seeing that they had to pay money for putting out false news is something that I feel like we need to kind of attack these news stations a lot more, because the worst thing that you can do to a society is feed its people misinformation or false information, because then those people will make decisions based off of not reality but off of that false information. Like, imagine if the news stations weren't allowed to put out that any of this let's say that they weren't able to put out that these voting systems could have possibly been fraud. Who knows? Maybe the storming in the White House wouldn't have happened. Maybe people would have been like, you know what, I guess Trump just lost. But no, all the news stations were saying, hey, Trump's coming out, he's saying it's fraud, it's false, he's really the president. And that riled these people up, and they made an irrational decision off of something that seems like it's misinformation. So let me know what you guys think about that. Like, comment, and subscribe, everything like that, to help push out the videos to the channel. I really appreciate all the love you guys have been showing. The views have been really growing, and I couldn't ask for any more of that. But let's go ahead and get into the next topic.